How are we doing? Why is everybody looking so sad? It's still morning. Morning. All right, my name is Ololade Adesuyi, and excuse me. All right, I'm going to be talking today on designing for trust in an AI-driven world. I'm trying to figure out where to focus my focus. The lights. Okay, designing for trust in an AI-driven world. These days, everybody, I feel like we all know what AI is. The last speaker also talked about AI just now, so I don't need to. Do I need to explain what AI is anymore? Nobody has never used AI here. Nobody. All right. So I don't need to explain what AI does or what AI is. All right. Now, so we're basically going to be talking mostly about trust. Not your relationship kind, but yeah, trust. In this case, from the perspective of designers, because of course I am a designer, that's what I can talk about. I can't talk about other people's perspectives. But yeah, based on the number you see on your screen right now, you can tell that 2.5 billion people trust AI, all of us here inclusive, with their decisions, right? You want to go to the gym, you're asking AI, which workouts should I do? In fact, you don't even need to go ask for a trainer anymore. You can just wake up, open ChatGPT, open Gemini, and just ask what routines should I follow, right? Everybody these days, we're trusting AI with things to eat. What should I eat this morning? Nigerian food options. What should I wear to work? Which corporate casual fits do you think would go best for this occasion that I'm going for, right? Everybody's trusting AI with decisions they're trying to make. I've seen people with the old drama that has happened on Twitter recently, I've seen people use AI to also analyze conversations with their partners. What's the undertone of this person's message? What do you think this person is actually trying to tell me? So basically, AI in the world we live in today, everybody is trusting AI with decisions regarding their lives. And as designers, we also have to think about how to design in such a way that people would actually trust what we're giving them, the experiences we're giving them, right? Most of the products you use today, AI is infused in a lot. In fact, I feel like the ones that don't have AI right now, they are probably somewhere thinking about what AI feature can we add to this app right now because everybody's doing AI. We must do AI as well, right? So when people use products, uh, the standard is that I want to have an option to decide not to use this AI. Because as much as we're saying we have 2.5 billion people that trust AI with their decision making process, we also have people that are still very skeptical about using AI. We've heard some Christians say that AI is demonic. You've not heard? I like the environment you guys live in. We've heard people say that AI is demonic. We've heard pastors preach against AI. We've heard even scholars talk about how AI is here to learn your, to take your jobs. Why is everybody acting like they don't hear these things? Okay, my universe is different. But all right, because of things like this, we definitely have people that are still very skeptical. They don't understand how this whole AI thing everybody's shouting about how it works, right? They don't trust AI to make critical decisions for them. You see people on Twitter dragging a certain somebody talking about, oh, why are you using AI to analyze people's tweets to decide if it is somebody or not? How can you trust AI to that point? But again, it begs the question of why not, right? If as designers you already trust AI to draw your information architecture, your user journey maps. I remember giving students assignments to draw user journey maps, and everybody came with something from AI. I looked at it and I was like, if it was when I started design that AI was outside like this. Draw user journey map, everybody is giving me something cute. I could just tell that this was not done by anybody. And then I just asked, which AI tool did you use to generate this user journey map? At that point, you can't tell me, oh, I didn't use AI because I already know it's AI. Just tell me which one. And then go back, do your assignments properly. Because AI is going to We already know those parts. AI hallucinates a lot. It gives you what you want. Have you ever asked ChatGPT 2 plus 2? It says 4. And you're like, no, cannot be 4 now. And then ChatGPT tells you, oh, I'm sorry. It's actually 5. Thank you, you're right. I see where you're coming from, Ololade. I think 2 plus 2 is actually 5. And then I say, no, 2 plus 2 is not 5. It's actually 7. It will find an excuse to make sure that 2 plus 2 is actually 7. We all know that, right? Exactly. So in situations like this, as designers, how can you make sure that the people you're designing for actually trust this product you're designing for them? Because again, everybody has their bias when it comes to using AI, products that have AI in them. You're wondering, is it going to steal my data? Is it going to steal my information? Are you training it to know what I like so that it's going to come and steal my job tomorrow? We have all of those things, right? Now, the uh, popular thing is that human beings, sometimes, maybe not most times, but sometimes we trust other humans. I believe that's why a lot of people are in relationships these days. Maybe not you tech people, but I want to believe some people are doing relationship things and you trust each other, right? When you trust people, you feel safe, especially when you guys in your relationships have fights. You tell the other person, oh, let's not talk over text. I want to see your face when you're saying these things so that I can gauge your emotions and don't read the things you're saying wrong. People have not done those things. Wow. You're innocent, Godwin. All right. For those of you that have actually done relationship things, right, and you've had arguments, okay, let's forget relationships. Friendships. You guys don't have friends too. At this point, we should pay all of you up before you go home. But yes, that's why we're here at DevFest again, to meet people, get to know more people. But basically, when you see people, it's easier for you to tell what the other person is thinking by looking at them, right? You don't have to overanalyze what they are saying just because, oh, you can tell this person is angry merely from looking at them, right? But with AI is like that God you cannot see. Again, it hallucinates. So you cannot tell when something is actually wrong or when it's actually right, except you yourself know that this thing is actually wrong or this thing is actually right. Am I right? If you tell, like I said, if you tell AI 2 plus 2, you know in your mind it's 4. But if AI tells you it is 4 and you say no, it's not 4, who is going to fight who that it's not actually 4? Do we get? So with humans, it's easier for you to let your guard down because you already know that I can easily tell whether you're wrong or you're right if you're familiar with the person. But with AI, you have to already understand how these things work for you to actually trust it. Now, for humans to trust AI, because we are designers, oh, sorry, I don't know if we're all designers. Are we all designers? And you people did not correct me since I'm sorry. But you work on products. Product managers, front-end developers, what do we do? Anyone you do. But when you work on products, you have to make sure that you're building in, okay, let me stop talking from, this is going to be hard, but I'll try. From the perspective of a regular tech person that is building a product. When you're designing a product, you want to make sure that the person that is using this product understands what exactly the AI is doing. Because of course, you're not always going to spell it out to them that, oh, our AI is doing this thing for you. Kind of like Spotify. You guys use Spotify, where it reshuffles music for you. It's not announcing to you that, oh, look at me, I'm using AI to reshuffle your music because I know that this is what you're going to like. But it does it, right? So, and you can trust that, basically. But when you start telling people, oh, our AI wants to reshuffle something for you, oh, then the person steps back like, what do you mean your AI is reshuffling something for me? How does your AI even know what I like? Then it starts asking a lot of questions, right? That's where the human versus AI thing starts happening. And then people are stressed. Again, back to my perspective as a designer, because our work every day is to make sure that we're designing experiences that people actually love, that does not stress them out. Nobody is carrying calculator or carrying dictionary to understand what this product is even supposed to do in the first place, right? Again, when you're using things that spell it out to you that, oh, the AI is doing this, then your mental workload at that point is already rising because now you're doing a lot of maths. If you're designing for people in their 40s or in their 50s upwards, right, you're stressing these people. I know how many times my parents see videos online and they're like, Joe, sorry, I'll not speak Yoruba just now. Like, please, share this one to his AI. And me too, I'll take like 5 minutes to even understand first if the video is AI or not. That's how bad it has gotten. Where before they could trust someone like me, like, if Lolade sees this video, she will know if it's AI or not. But now if I see it, me too, I'll take like 5 minutes to look at it, like, oh, I don't know, right? So when you design products, and the way you implemented your AI features into the products is something that is going to stress your user. You're already defeating the purpose of making their lives easier. Yeah? And with this, people will never fully relax. They are always wondering whether or not they are doing the right thing. And you don't want your users to spend so much time trying to figure out your products that they don't even now get to use it. Because at the end of the day, you must make money. Salary must enter. Now, I've talked about the design implication. From the perspective of other people, you would understand, right? So this is why when you are designing a product, even if you're not a designer, you're a front-end developer, I know that back-end developers build things like dashboards for companies, so you should also be able to relate to things that I'm saying, right? You want people to trust something that they typically would not trust. Yeah? But you want to do it in a way that now they are not overburdened with the task of trying to understand what this particular feature even is in the first place. I've talked about Spotify, right? I remember when they started doing Spotify Wrapped as well. Most people did not buy into the idea. It was still a war of Apple Music versus Spotify. But by the next year, a lot of people wanted to do Spotify Wrapped. So many people used Spotify that next year. Am I right or am I wrong? Then Apple noticed. I will not finish that one. So how did Spotify crack trust? That's an example. I already mentioned one earlier, but for the sake of those that probably just came in, with your Discover Weekly, with your Shuffle option, where it recommends music to you, right? You open your Discover Weekly, even if you've not used Spotify in, say, 3 months, right? It's still going to recommend things that it believes you're going to like. But there is nowhere there that is telling you, I'm using AI. But you know that for those of us that know, we know it's happening. But your regular user that does not know about AI, intelligence, Kineko is artificial, they don't care about those things. They know that it does what they want it to do for them, right? So that's basically the trust mechanics that we're talking about, right? I mentioned three plenty English that would help you understand your users better, right? Based on fallibility, disclosure, and attribution, right? You're using examples like, oh, because you listened to something, we think you might like something. We're not saying our AI said you will like, so we are giving you, no, you're making it seem like it was because they did a particular thing that something else happened. It's easier to trust something like that, right? Than telling it that one machine somewhere said you will like it. You're looking at me like, okay, right? So you build trust from smaller things. That's why I mentioned Discover Weekly, Shuffle option, till Spotify Wrapped came, right? We still have the whole argument of Spotify Wrapped, Apple Shuffle option versus Spotify Shuffle option. They've started. Right? So we have all of that. So now what is the lesson with all of this? Again, money must be made, right? How will you get your salaries at the end of the day? You have to look nice, you have to eat, you have to sponsor one or two things, right? Because at the end of the day, this whole trust thing we're talking about is not just UX. I wrote that. It's not just UX, but it's very business critical because, again, Spotify Wrapped, as an example, Apple realized we will fuck up if we don't do this thing. let them say we are copying them. Instagram versus TikTok, Facebook versus Instagram, Reels, Stories. You observe your users. You notice they're liking this thing. Oh. If we don't do it, they will run away. We better bring it here so they stay. That's basically what you're doing. You're putting business decisions at this point first, right? So that even when users cannot start confirming, oh, what is this AI thing these people are even talking about? That's to the point where they're now doing a lot of maths, a lot of calculations and deciding, please, no, I don't want all those people that their pastors have told them AI is demonic. They'll not tell you, me, I don't want any app that is using AI. I'm not using, right? And then when trust is broken, nobody uses your product, business fails. Everybody goes home. We don't want that to happen. And that is why I have something I call the ethics framework, right? It's basically a very practical checklist for every AI feature that you're going to design. Now, ETI, basically acronym, ETHICS, ethics. For the E, it's basically explainability, right? You don't want to, again, your audience, they're the ones that will teach you. In your mind, you're thinking, everybody should know what dismiss means now. That's what you think because you're a scholar. Everybody knows what dismiss means. Until your users, you tell your user to click dismiss, and what will happen if I click dismiss? And you're looking at, okay. Then you realize you have to go back to the drawing board to adjust that copy, as small as that. Right? So you want to make sure you're using terms, languages, terminologies, copies that people. I use 12-year-old in this case because I wanted to balance because I know that everybody now uses a phone. Even your 4-year-old niece or nephew has a phone. So let's just start from 12. That even a 12-year-old can easily understand how it works, right? You don't want to, there is also the part where you want to show them what this thing actually does. You don't just want to tell them, oh, our AI is doing this, so you want to show them. Again, Spotify. Anything I say, just think back to Spotify. They are like the best example for this thing. Now, for the T, it's transparency. In this case, you want to make sure that you are not hiding anything that your users should actually know, right? If you're using AI, again, that's why I read privacy policy. If you go and meet anybody that, oh, you not tell me, they'll tell you, did you read our privacy policy? No, you did not, we know. But it's there. So they will tell you, we will analyze your data, we will use your data. You said yes. I know. It's always in the privacy policy, and we always check that box without actually reading it. But no wala. So you have to be transparent as well. Make sure that if you're going to be using AI in any of your features at all within your product, mention it to your users. Make sure they are aware, right? You don't want to have a scenario where somebody comes tomorrow because we still have very, very, what's the word now? Skeptical people. That even if you put a billboard and tell them AI is not demonic, AI is not taking your job, they will still not want to use it. And for the sake of people like that, to make sure that you don't end up getting sued, you want to mention it. Just put it somewhere, whether your privacy policy, whether you're going to put a little tooltip or something, just put it somewhere that we're using AI. So that in the future, you will not come and say you were not aware that we were using your data. And then for H, you're thinking human centricity. I feel like every designer is always talking about, oh, user-centered, user-centric designer. I am user-centered, yes. So in this case, I don't want to say because it's going to scatter my ETHICS. So let's use human instead of user. You have to make sure that you're thinking about the people you're designing for, right? Is it going to take away their ability to think, right? Now, nobody wants to, for instance, if TikTok has an option to use AI to come up with your caption. Now, imagine every time you want to post a picture or a video or whatever on TikTok, you just use their caption, their AI caption thingy, and you never come up with your own captions. At that point, we've already, by using AI now, I mean, you don't even have the option to choose if you want to come up with your own caption yourself or if AI wants to do it for you. TikTok now says it's AI that will be giving you your caption by force, right? You don't want that to happen as a designer. I mean, I've seen it in some products where you are trying to come up with, maybe you're trying to post something, especially with platforms that do things where you can post blog posts, write descriptions, write taglines, and stuff like that. They will try to come up with content for you. And then you're thinking, how do I override this? I want to write my own thing. I've written something down already. Always make sure that you make your users are in control at all times, right? You want to make sure that they can override your AI. I don't want your shuffle option. I want to select my songs by myself. uh You should include that. Then for the I, we have inclusivity. Everybody talks about, oh, when I design with inclusivity in mind, I design with accessibility in mind. Now you're thinking, is this going to work for everybody? Right? You are not just thinking about Gen Zs that will understand AI. You're thinking about your moms, your dads, your little nephew in secondary school that is going to do an assignment. You're thinking about everybody. Will they understand? Right? Designed for extremes. I know that with the way startups, most people work with startups, yeah, and with the way startups work, you cannot necessarily design for everybody. But as much as possible, you want to try to design for extremes. And then the C part, consent, again, privacy policy. You want to make sure that your users actually agreed to use your AI in this feature. All right. You want to put it in their face like, we are going to use your data. Do you agree? They say yes or no. And then they can also include a way. That's why I prefer the option where you put it somewhere, maybe beneath, for instance, if it's a caption field, an input field, you can just put it beneath it like, oh, we can recommend uh, content for you for this caption. If you don't know what to write, our AI, we have an AI-enabled assistant that can help you come up with caption. Yeah, and then they can decide, I don't want. I'll write my own cute stuff. Right, and then for S, we have safety. In this case, you're thinking, what's the worst that can possibly happen with your users using this AI feature? We've heard of people committing suicide. So as much as possible, you want to make sure you're considering every single possible, what do I call it now? Issue that could arise from people using your AI. Thank God for QA testers. They will test the life of that until it breaks. So yes, you want to test for all possible failure modes. Make sure. I know that there are some things that you cannot cater to, like somebody deciding, oh, I'm in love with your AI. I've read a lot of things online that sometimes I wonder how. But yeah. Now we have the trust journey. Yeah. I feel like, or I believe that we have certain stages when it comes to trusting AI. At first, when ChatGPT came, a lot of people were like, no, ChatGPT is going to steal our jobs. It's going to do this and that. I cannot use ChatGPT. Many of us use it now. Yes or yes. When Gemini started, people were creating pictures of themselves. In fact, till now, there are still people that are telling you, you people are using Gemini to create picture of yourself. You think they... Anyway, but there are basically 5 stages that I believe happens when people start to trust your AI, right? The very first, again, this day 0 to day 7 is not fixed. It could vary, but I'm just giving you like a journey sort of description so you understand how your users will interact with these features when you introduce them into your products, right? We have the skepticism stage where they're like, this AI, is it going to steal my data? Is it demonic? Is it stealing my job? Then one day they're like, let me even try this thing that everybody's talking about. Now you're experimenting, right? Then when it gets to calibration, they're already looking, this AI can do this and that. Okay, we'll see. And they're using it, but they're no longer skeptical, right? But they are relying more on it now. They want to order for food. They're thinking, this is my house people, what can I cook for them today? We've eaten rice yesterday, we've eaten rice day before yesterday. We eat rice again this morning to not go well. You go and ask ChatGPT, recommend Nigerian breakfasts. Mhm. Now you're getting to the point where you're starting to rely on the AI feature, yeah? And then now gets to the point where you and this AI, you're now padding. Two of you will now be bantering each other. ChatGPT will be apologizing. You will say no. You've gotten to that stage. So basically, trust is not like a straight line journey. It can happen that the person is skeptical at first, they start to trust it, then something will just happen, and then they're back to day zero. And they're even maybe advocating against the AI at this point, like nobody should use it. I know there are people that use Gemini to come up with pictures when it was trending, and it did not give them their own pictures. I saw a lot of that on TikTok, and they're like, that Gemini is a lie. How are you people even using it? My own did not come out well. But that's basically it, right? So you want to make sure that you give people opportunity to proceed, to progress through all of those stages. Now, how can you measure what matters? I tried to do plenty mathematics things here, but I was like, let's try not to, right? We have the override rate. Again, my uh, my recommendation every time is to tell them that option to use AI is there if you don't want. Because like we know, most people don't read privacy policies. Yeah. And then they can wake up and tell you, but I did not say. So you want to include it somewhere in your design. I included an example here where you can tell them, use AI or use your own content. Right? Sort of like TikTok, when you're adding your description or your caption to your photos or your videos, the AI option is there, but you still have your input field to type in whatever you want. Exactly. So you can calculate how many people are deciding not to use your AI versus how many people are actually typing in their own content. Then you would know if people trust this AI feature or they don't. Yeah. I want to believe that when you're designing products, you have things that track all of these activities within your app, your website, whatever. I want to believe so. So track the override rate. Uh, you also want to see how many people checked why or how this thing actually works. Yeah. In this case, if you use, for instance, all these info icons next to say use AI and then you tap on it to read what this thing even does, then you know that okay, people are curious as to what this thing actually is. But if nobody is clicking on it, you know that they don't even care. They just want to type their description and go. And that's fine as well. But it gives you insight into how your users are relating with your product. And then there is also the recovery success part. When your user tries to, I've tried using TikTok's AI thingy to come up with caption, and then I realized, nah, let me just type my thing myself. So you want to also check or track how many people erased, for instance, the caption that your AI came up with and then did their own thing. And it, maybe they now realize, it's like my own caption self is worse. Let me just go and use AI and TikTok AI's caption back like that. You also want to track all of that. Yeah. Uh, then I mentioned three questions that you can use as a sort of trust test thingy, where uh, if you have users for your user testing, I don't know, again, you people are not all designers, so pardon me. But if you have like a number of people that do internal testing for you, you can ask these questions to them. And I know that there are apps that usually send out surveys randomly. You can include it in your survey as well. Like, oh, will you recommend this AI feature to your friend, right? You just want to know if people are using it because let's say, for example, you guys don't know how to track all of those other things I mentioned already, but you still want to get insights into how people are using your product. Yeah, you can just send out a survey, maybe once a month or quarterly, to just understand how people are interacting with this thing. Do you understand how this AI even makes decisions for you? Yeah. Do you feel in control? You want to ask them these three questions. Again, uh, Nigerians are very interesting people, but it's better to try than not to try. Then, your trust, your design playbook. Uh, in this case, again, I'm sorry to those of you that are not designers. I did this with designers in mind. First week, you want to audit. Yeah. In this case, you want to map out all the AI touch points in your product. You want to understand every single place that you're integrating AI, including the ones you are not announcing to your user that, oh, we're using AI. Map out every single one of them, all right? And based on the trust signals that I already mentioned, you want to score each of them uh, on a scale, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, whatever. Then you want to identify where the biggest issue comes from. Is it the fact that people don't feel like they're in control? Is it the fact that they feel like they don't even understand how this AI makes decisions for them? You want to understand what exactly the biggest trust gap is. And again, talk to your users, because if you don't talk to them, how would you even understand how they're interacting with your product? Next one is the second week. You want to check for your quick wins. In this case, you've done the audit already, right? Now you've already understood your users to a certain extent, maybe not fully at this point, but now you can start going back to the drawing board to implement changes based on the feedback you've gotten. So I just listed a bunch of them. So you're asking if, for instance, they said, oh, it's because I don't feel like I'm in control. You can include an override option like, okay, I don't want to use your AI. I want to do my own thing. Include that option as well. And then when you're including error messages, don't be like ChatGPT that would not agree that it does not know the thing. Tell them, okay, I don't know. Do your thing. Yeah, something like that. And then for the third week, yeah, you want to just test and learn. In this case, you're doing a lot of A/B testing. Again, sorry to those of you that are not designers, I'm sorry. What do we call A or B testing in A or B testing now? A versus B. If you don't want A, you want B. We understand that, right? uh Then you trust test based on that. Just check for the people that, let's assume you sent out a survey and they've given you feedback and they've told you for all three, you've gotten terrible feedback from those questions I said you should ask. You can send out maybe emails to those people to just get maybe an interview with them to understand deeply what the issue actually was, right? You'll be very amazed at what you find out, because again, people are interesting. And again, document, 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 because you don't want to go make the same mistake you made from the very beginning, even after you have got it to this point. So if you document, you already know that, oh, this thing this person is talking about, we already fixed it in maybe version one. We can bring it back in, something like that. And the fourth week, now you're scaling, right? You've gotten feedback, you've tested, you've learned. Now you can create a design system. People that are not designers, sorry, I'm very sorry. Create a design system, right? And you can quickly share all of your learnings, right? We have um, companies, startups that send out emails to their users, newsletters, explaining, oh, we tried this, it didn't work, but we are bringing this and we believe you're going to love it. Something like that. You can do that as well. Well, to wrap up, I'm going to say that as designers, sorry to the rest of you, trust is not just something, it's not a feature you can carry and say, I want to add trust to my products. It's something, again, we know how trust works. People are relationship kids. We know how trust works. So it's a principle you want to embed in everything across your product. Yeah, so that people understand exactly what you're getting themselves into. They understand how this thing makes decisions on their behalf. And they can even recommend your product to other people based on how maybe lovely they found this AI feature. Like all of us that use Gemini, that AI can tell your friends, Gemini can create pictures for you. Mhm. So, do we have questions? I like that everybody understood everything I said. Nice. So, no questions? I'm about to run away. No questions? Anybody? I can go. All right. Thank you guys so much.